Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Kassia. On this channel, we discuss all aspects of the ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. Today, we're going to be talking about the second Mercury Retrograde of 2021. This is happening in the sign of Gemini, and we're going to have Mercury stationing retrograde on the 28th of May and stationing direct on the 21st of June, right as we begin Cancer season. This is going to be a powerful retrograde. This is our second of three retrogrades of 2021. They're all in air signs. We had that first retrograde in Aquarius as we rang in that age of Aquarius with all those beautiful Aquarian energies. We have this one in Gemini, and then we have a third one in Libra later on this year. And so really working with that mind energy, right? Mercury represents the mind. It represents the way we process information, the way we perceive information, the way we communicate and relay information, and all the information, all of the mind things. And as those of you who follow this channel and have watched the Eclipse Season 2021 video know that we're working very strongly with belief systems throughout the eclipse season, and Mercury is very present during these eclipses. And so just a really powerful role that Mercury is playing in our evolution as souls and in the evolution of our minds in 2021. 2021 is very much about the evolution of the minds as we really learn how to master the mind. It would be what's coming to mind right now in the Lightworkers Oracle is the initiation by air card. And so very much in many ways, 2021 is an initiation by air. We're learning how to be masters of our minds. And why is that important? Because first of all, as we move into a higher and higher consciousness, our manifestation abilities become that much, like manifestation happens that much faster. As our spiritual power, as our light grows, so does the power of our minds, so does our ability to create, and it happens faster and faster. Once we are in a fully ascended state, fully entrenched in this new earth energy, our thoughts are almost instantly going to become our reality. Right now we have a little bit of a lag time as we are in this heavier density, this third density. But as we move through and upward through these densities, that lag time becomes less and less. And as we become more powerful, more centered in our light, that our ability to create, that's what happens. And so we want to make sure that we are creating what we want, that we are in control of our minds instead of allowing our minds to be in control of us. Because what happens when our minds are in control of us? That's where anxiety and paranoia and all of these lower vibrational states of being, right, can manifest, and we end up creating from that place. We end up manifesting our fears and our phobias, and we don't want to be doing that. We want to be fully in control of that mind, allowing that mind to be our tool, right? A tool that we use to navigate this reality, any reality that we find ourselves existing in. We want to harmonize that mind-heart connection. We want to be led by the heart and allow the mind to come in and follow the directions of the heart instead of vice versa. We've been trained to lead from the minds instead of the heart, and so we're retraining ourselves, and we're really elevating our game where our minds are concerned. We're also working throughout 2021 on belief systems, right? The programming of the mind. We are deprogramming our minds, and this is how we release ourselves from this lower density consciousness. This is how we remain stuck as well, is when we allow other people control and domination of our minds. And so we're really breaking free of a lot of that in 2021. And these Mercury retrogrades and air signs are really helping with that. This is going to be an intense retrograde as Mercury stations just a couple days after that first eclipse, official eclipse of eclipse season, that total lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, right, which is very much about belief systems, very much about purification and releasing. We're moving right into Mercury retrograde. And then when Mercury comes out of retrograde, it's coming out into a water sign, which is that intuitive energy. So there's a lot of intuitive energies going on here. And an interesting thing about Mercury retrograde is it can feel different for different people. If we are somebody who processes mentally, it brings us into that emotional, intuitive state of processing. If we're somebody who already processes like that, then for some people, it can actually bring them into a more logical way of processing. It kind of reverses the natural process of our minds. So that was something that I found out recently that resonated with me that I thought was really interesting. However, in this particular Mercury retrograde, the emotional processing is very much, the intuitive processing is very much highlighted. This Mercury retrograde starts out with a square to Neptune. And so this is that energy that can be a bit hazy. It is Neptune square Mercury, or Mercury square Neptune energy is very much a retrograde-like energy in and of itself. It makes the mental processes a little bit hazy. It makes it a little bit more difficult to voice and communicate our thoughts. We think in a different way on a different level. The higher spiritual thought and understanding is highlighted, but the mundane day-to-day practicality aspects of the mind are not necessarily functioning at 100%, right? That's not where the strength of the mind lies. And so we're seeing that with that, it may add an extra layer of confusion, an extra layer of miscommunication. So we really want to be careful and precise as we are moving through this season. When it comes to the way that we are communicating, when it comes to the decisions that we are making, Mercury retrograde of every planet, gives us a different perspective. It shows us things from a different way. It kind of flips things upside down so that we can see from different angles that we hadn't been able to maybe see from before. So it's good to get all of that information, but then to kind of wait it out if we can, if we're trying to make big decisions. If there's a decision that we've been needing to make for a really long time and we've been clear, we just haven't been able to really make the moves on it, then sometimes Mercury retrograde just highlights that and makes it that much more clear. In which case, those decisions I feel like are decisions that needed to be made, and this is the extra push. But if it's something new coming in or something that you're not 100% sure about, wait it out if you can. What's interesting to know also is that this Mercury retrograde, the post-shadow period, which is where Mercury returns to where it started its retrograde from, is actually going to end on the 7-7 portal. So I found that really fascinating, and the 7 is one of possibly the most highly spiritually auspicious number. And so it's really fascinating that that's where we're going to be fully moved out of the Mercury retrograde energies. Once Mercury reaches the place where it began its retrograde, that is when we really feel the energy dissipating. But of course, in the process from when it stations direct until it reaches where it began its retrograde, we're getting clearer all the time and things are kind of falling into place. That's really the time I'm feeling right now when we may have a lot of divine inspiration and revelations. Right now, it's just about bringing up all of the different perspectives, all of the different things that we need to see. And with this Mercury square Neptune energy, it can be very confusing. It can feel very difficult to navigate. However, it gives us an incredible opportunity to tap into our full intuitive potential. Right? Neptune is a planet that represents the spirit, that represents that unity consciousness, that represents all the mystical, right? Everything that is beyond what we can see and perceive with the five senses. So this is a very powerful there's a powerful spiritual energy at our disposal, but we're going to have to plunge ourselves into the depths. It's like the moon card in the tarot. Really plunge ourselves into the depths of the unconscious, of the dream world, of this other perspective, this other way of seeing and viewing things, and move past the rational mind. And if we do that, we can have an incredibly powerful time during this retrograde if we're really open to going with the flow. Yeah, let me see what else here. Yeah, so we are going to be having our second eclipse during Mercury retrograde as well. That's going to be happening on June 10th. So that's going to be really powerful, and that is in the sign of Gemini. There's a ton of Gemini energy going on during this Mercury retrograde. We still have Venus in Gemini. We have the Sun in Gemini until the retrograde ends, and then, of course, we'll be moving into Cancer. And so a lot of that powerful energy, there's a lot coming in. There's going to be a lot of new information coming in, especially with this eclipse in the mix. And so that's going to be part of what helps to shift our perception, I think, is all of this new information that's coming in, all of these new ideas that are coming in. We're releasing so many of our old beliefs and ideas with this full moon eclipse. And then we're bringing in all of these fresh ideas. And if you guys want to join in the full moon releasing ceremony, for those of you who watch this video today, that's going to be tomorrow. If it has passed, I'm going to be doing one every full moon from now on. unless there's some outstanding reason why that can't happen. But generally speaking, that's going to be a thing that we're going to be doing. And I also do, that's an independent thing, the full moon releasing. I also do a new moon manifestation ceremony with a group of other people, and the links for that, I have the full moon links up until the full moon ceremony is over. And then for a lot of you viewing this video, it will be the new moon ceremony coming up if you guys want to join that one. Really powerful manifestation energy. But it's going to be interesting that this is happening during Mercury retrograde, this eclipse. So it's bringing in a lot from a different perspective and really helping to shift our perspective, really helping to bring in the new energy that's helping to create these new belief systems that we are moving into. And a lot, just a lot of fresh energy, really kind of rejuvenating this Mercury retrograde and making it that much more interesting. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about. Yes. So we also have Mercury starting out this retrograde conjunct Venus. And so Mercury is, of course, not going to be square Neptune or conjunct Venus throughout the whole retrograde. This is only at the beginning that we're going to see this. And I'm going to pull up the chart here of the end of the retrograde, just so that I have that to sort of look at as we are talking about all of this. But yes, we are going to have Mercury beginning this retrograde conjunct Venus and square Neptune. So those energies, like where it begins, I feel those energies are definitely helping with some of the themes and helping show us things that we may be working through and elements of the retrograde. Right? And so this conjunction to Venus really brings relationships to the forefront. It brings self-worth. It brings what we value. These are things that we may be experiencing a renaissance around. We may be seeing from different perspectives, understanding our relationships through a different lens, understanding our finances, understanding our self-worth and how those two things tie into our self-worth. Understanding what really has meaning and value for us. So we're going to be working with those energies as well as we move through this retrograde. And then Mercury ends its retrograde. It makes a conjunction to the North Node just before stationing, and then stations a few degrees, about 6 degrees away from the North Node. And so I'm really feeling this as it's moving us into this new energy, right? We come out of that eclipse, and then the next week we move and Mercury conjuncts that North Node, and then stations direct. And so this is powerful energy between the eclipse and the connection with the North Node, really moving us forward. Even though Mercury retrogrades a lot of times are representative of moving backwards or slowing down process, there's still a lot of energy moving us forward. And so everything that we're realizing, everything that we're understanding has a greater value to it, as it always does, but really has a greater value to it as far as moving us more towards our path, aligning us with where it is that we're meant to go, really aligning us with fresh new energies. There's a lot of fresh new energies. A lot of times we think about the past, Mercury retrograde are being associated with the past, but this Mercury retrograde feels very much associated. We may be tying up things from the past. We may be completing cycles from the past and doing all of that, right? There may be people from the past who are coming back into our lives. However, this energy is much more focused on the future. All right, you guys, let's get into the cards here. We're going to start out with some Black Moon astrology cards. And I will try to remember to list these in the description box. I do like to say what cards I'm using, but people do ask sometimes. And so I've been trying to get into the habit of that. And so if you guys ever catch it and you want to know, just drop a comment and remind me if I forgot. But we're going to see, we're talking about Mercury retrograde in Gemini. Mercury retrograde in Gemini. Guidance, energies. Okay. So we have 5th house, creativity coming out. And then we have Aquarius, I know. All right. So with the Aquarius and the 5th house card here, this for me feels very much about learning how to march to the beat of our own drummer. Right? That's what Aquarius energy is all about. That's the energy that we're learning. The first step as we begin welcoming in this age of Aquarius energy is really getting to know who we are, really getting comfortable with who we are, with expressing who we are, with what makes us different, with what makes us special, with what makes us unique, right? And really with this 5th house card, expressing that creatively. And remember, everything that we do is art. Everything that we do is creativity. We are creative beings. The way we get up, the way we get dressed, right? The way we do our hair, the way we speak, the way that we move, everything is a creative process. And so really owning that as we move through this Mercury retrograde season, and really owning what makes us special and unique. And with the 5th house, really putting that out there, right? Expressing that for the world to see, having fun with it. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that energy for us, like a liberation kind of energy coming through with those 2 cards. And we have the Neptune card wanting to pass out there. Pass out. I mean, it can be an energy dampener when we have Neptune conjuncting or having a relationship, an aspect to planets. So maybe the pass out there. For some people, we may feel a little bit physically or mentally fatigued, and so we do want to take extra care of ourselves. I think that's why that little slip happened there. But trying to pop out. We'll see if she comes back out, though. But we do have the void of course moon missing. And we have the part of fortune increase. And so I feel like during this Mercury retrograde season, we may have that illusion, even though there's all this energy that's moving us forward, we may not see it in our physical reality. We may not fully feel it. It may feel like it's missing. That's also that Neptunian energy again, right? That mystical energy, that the veil, right? The unseen. There's a lot that's happening in the unseen, but it may feel like it's not moving forward in the future. Like it's not moving forward the way that we had anticipated or wanted. It's sort of like the void is what I'm feeling, swimming in the void. Right? And so we're just being asked to allow ourselves to marinate in that void and to know that the void is where all possibility comes from. So even when we're in that energy, if we're feeling like nothing's happening, there is a lot that's happening. There is so much potential ready to explode from that void. And to just allow that and just to know that, like, even if it doesn't feel like things are moving forward and increasing, and even if our confusion is the only thing at parts and times that feels like it's increasing, just know that everything else, like, there's more going on than what can be seen. Yeah, solar eclipse. Evolution. And so this is really, this is like, there is so much, and what's happening is, our minds, like we talked about, right? Our minds have to shift before everything else can. And so it's a process. Things are being lined up. Things are all happening exactly how they're meant to, even if we can't see it or feel it. But it's this revolution of the mind. This is card number 44, okay? That is happening. And that is what shifts everything. But we have to allow, it's like, see in this card, the sun is blotted out by the moon. Okay, it looks dark, but see all this light here? And as soon as that begins to move, all of a sudden, it's like if you were staring at the sun, and they say not to do that during eclipse. Don't do that. They make special glasses for that. But say that you were and it appeared dark, and then you keep staring, all of a sudden, as this begins, as the darkness or what's obscuring it begins to move, it's even brighter than before, right? And it literally blinds you with its brightness. And I feel like that's what's going to happen is, like, when the blinders come off, when things begin to be revealed, it's going to be so dazzling and so bright that it's almost going to be blinding. And that's why it happens sometimes in phases. Because if it all revealed itself at once, we would be so stunned, we almost wouldn't know what to do with ourselves. So it happens in cycles and phases and stages. And so just knowing that and being aware of that. And then we have Sagittarius IC, and we have the water element sensing. So this is seeing with our intuition. This is seeing with our subtle bodies. This is what we were talking about, seeing and understanding and perceiving through that deeper spiritual, intuitive part of our nature. That's what we're learning right to do during this Mercury retrograde. Things are going to feel, possibly for many of us, so foggy on the outside that we have to go within in order to see, right? Think about it. Somebody who is blind, somebody who does not have the gift of vision, all of their other senses are magnified. And so they sense probably much more deeply than we do, because they're so much more in tune with their environment. They're so much more in tune with their external and internal environment. And so that's sort of like what this Mercury retrograde partially feels like. It's like so much powerful energy coming in, so many changes that are being initiated, but we may not be seeing them initially, and we may be in a bit of a fog of confusion. So dive deeper into that. Instead of struggling to come out of it, dive deeper in and see what you discover, right? Really become one with your intuition, with your emotion, with these other aspects. Really fine tune that sixth sense. This is going to be it's like see through that intuitive lens, see through that higher spiritual lens. And then we have the South Node, and actually, I am going to take it. Pluto was trying to pop out with the South Node, and we're going to take it because I'm really feeling these energies together. So this is a transformation with the North Node, transformation of life debts. This is karma. This is past energy, right? The transformation of the past. And this doesn't necessarily mean that we're changing the past, right? But we're changing the way that we view the past. We're changing the meaning that we give the past. And this is something that Aaron Doughty talks about a lot. And I really resonate with this. And this is the idea that of everything that we believe, every experience that we've had, we give a meaning to. And if we can shift the meaning that we give to something, we can shift our experience of that energy, and we can shift the hold that that energy has over us. And so I really feel this as that energy of us giving new meaning to our past experiences, of us really transforming, seeing that transforming the energy of our past. This is also the transforming and the transmuting of karma type energy that I'm feeling here. But it's really moving through those energies, and it's really taking with us, right? Because we experience everything for a reason. There's lessons, there's gifts in everything. That's sort of how we transform that energy and the meaning we give it, by understanding the lesson, by understanding the gift, right? By understanding the virtues that we have gained as a result of that experience. And one thing that I found interesting, because we work with this in Theta healing a lot, this discovering the virtues and bringing forth the virtues from different experiences that we've had. And I found that a lot of times for me personally, and the personal work that I've done, the virtues that I've gained from different experiences are the opposite of what you would expect. You would expect the experience to produce the exact opposite of that virtue. But instead, somehow that virtue comes out of it. Right? It's like lifetimes where I was abused, or I was hurt, or all of these different things. It was like there was strength that came out of that. There was also like tolerance and compassion that came out of that, even though I in those lifetimes was not treated with that. So it's really interesting to see how we can, the most painful of circumstances can be so transformative and can really produce some beautiful lessons and virtues. And that's what our soul is here to do, is to develop and gain virtues. And then we have the North Node on the bottom of the deck, right? Which is that life's purpose, which we talked about. That's the energy that we're moving into, that we're coming to embrace. And then we have the Pisces card coming out with the 7th house partnership card. So once again, that hazy energy around partnerships, right? That Neptunian energy coming through. Neptune rules the sign of Pisces. We have Jupiter currently in the sign of Pisces. And so this is really, but it says, I believe on this card. And so this Mercury retrograde may test our faith in relationships. It may, for some people, restore their faith in relationships. It may open people up to deeper spiritual connection, right? Pisces is that unified energy. It is that Christ consciousness energy. It is that mystical energy, right? But it's that energy of true deep connection, of merging, right? So really merging, finding ways to connect more deeply in relationship, and really noticing where we're not doing that. If we're not feeling that connection, we are going to notice it. But even in that process, somehow, it's like even if we are going through painful times in our relationships, somehow our sense of faith in that is restored, which is really beautiful. So some people may see their relationships turn around during Mercury retrograde, Whether that's turning around in the sense that you come together more powerfully, or turning around in the sense that you're able to see the greater spiritual significance of your relationship and then release it and let it go if it's not serving you anymore, so that you can move into your destiny, right? I love it when the destiny card comes out. That is what we are moving toward. And with this Capricorn card, right, we are moving toward a more practical experience and application of our destiny. This is our destined life path, right? Capricorn is the energy of ambition. It's the energy of social climbing and recognition. But this isn't like shallow social climbing. This is like us moving very decidedly forward in the path of our destiny. And then Scorpio, I transform on the bottom of the deck. All right. Yep. I want to pull a couple Archangel Oracle cards. Clear. Mercury Retrograde 2021 in Gemini. Let's get some guidance from the Archangels. Mercury Retrograde 2021 in Gemini. What have you got for us? What have you got for us? Mercury Retrograde 2021 in Gemini. All right. So we have Archangel Zadkiel. It's time for transmutation. Carry the violet flame. So just a reminder again to work with this violet flame energy any way that you're intuitively guided to work with it. Set the intention to channel it. Set the intention that it comes through and transforms you. This is also about that transmuting karma energy that came up with the Pluto and the South Node card. Really working through and transmuting and transforming and shifting and healing that karma. The violet flame is really powerful for that as well. Transmuting all that is not serving us. And then we have Archangel Jophiel. Act with wisdom, use information for the highest good. And like we said, there's a lot of information that's going to be coming in. Definitely feeling throughout this Mercury retrograde season and specifically this retrograde, right? As we are shifted into more of that intuitive mind space, as our conscious minds are sort of shut down a little bit in a manner of speaking, right? We're that much more open to the higher guidance coming through. And so I feel us receiving a lot of downloads, and definitely with that eclipse as well, those downloads, that information pouring in. And so this isn't just that higher vibrational information, that more esoteric information. This is also information that may be coming through, helping us to, like we said, more facts, more information in order to help us make the choices and the decisions that we've been needing to make in order to help us see things from those higher perspectives. And so we're being asked to utilize whatever information we receive for the highest good. And so I want to read from this card. There's some really interesting stuff in these cards sometimes. So it says, Archangel Jophiel, the angel of wisdom, appears as a glowing pale yellow light. His etheric retreat is in the mountains in the north of China near the Great Wall, and he overlights Asia. He is responsible for the development of the crown chakra and is currently helping us awaken the 1,000 crystal facets of our crowns. Ooh. Each facet of your crown chakra contains a light code for your ascension. In addition, a thread from each facet connects directly to great energies in the cosmos, such as a star or ascension flame. Archangel Jophiel triggers these links when you are ready and helps you to understand and integrate the knowledge and wisdom you receive. He also holds the educational blueprint for the children of the future and is bringing about the new paradigm for schooling as we move toward the new golden age. He positions his angels in places where people need to act with more wisdom. And we are seeing this educational blueprint shifting, right? As more people are moving toward homeschooling for different reasons, as more people are coming together to figure out how can we educate our kids better? How can we teach them about higher spiritual concepts as well? How can we teach them the things that are really important in order for them to navigate this journey? How to meditate, how to connect with their higher selves, how to process their emotions, how to heal their traumas, right? All of these things that are so important that we spend lifetimes trying to learn, we're wanting to instill in our children now. And honestly, the children that are being born, a lot of them are coming in with a lot of this knowledge intact. It's really, really powerful. I have a close friend who's getting ready to have a starseed baby, and it's just so exciting, these high vibrational children that are being born. And with each generation, they get more and more high vibrational, and they're going to need a special type of schooling. They're not going to think and behave and be able to be be conditioned the way children before have been, because they're so in contact with that star-seeded lineage, with that higher perspective, with all of this ancient wisdom and knowledge, that they're not going to fit in those boxes that we've been sort of forced into for so long, right? It's just not going to happen. It's not going to work. And so I love that Archangel Jophiel is coming through with that as well. And so some people, if you have been thinking about these concepts that we're just talking about with the schooling, with the different ways of educating and preparing children about the starseed children, and you feel that you have a mission where that's concerned, this is confirmation for you that you do. Archangel Jophiel is coming through to help you and assist you with that. So that's a side message there. But this is also this is all of those, some of those higher ascension flames and light codes being activated within us during this Mercury retrograde. And remember, Mercury retrograde is also a time of integration, right? We have the times where our mind is moving forward and we're learning, and then we have the retrogrades where we're integrating. And this happens with all planets. There's the forward and there's the integration. And so during this Mercury retrograde, though, there's still a lot coming in. We are going to be integrating, but there's a lot coming in. And I feel like some of what's coming in is also to assist us in the integration process, but also opening us up in new ways at the same time. So let's read a little more here. This is the card of wisdom. Wisdom means gathering available information and applying it for the highest good. You're being guided to use yours carefully today in a situation or relationship, or to help others. Call on Archangel Jophiel and he will help you raise your frequency so you can act or advise from a wise perspective. Choosing this card suggests that you are in a position to impart helpful or sacred knowledge. You are also being guided to send Archangel Jophiel's angels to situations where they are needed, and to receive light codes to accelerate your own ascension. So be open to receiving those light codes. Be open to sharing your knowledge. Right? This has been coming up so much, how important it is to share the knowledge that we're receiving, but to always make sure that we are aligning ourselves when we do so. So that knowledge is being shared from the purest place with that pure intention of being for the highest good. As we're working through these Gemini Sagittarius energies, we are understanding this delicate balance, right? Where we're not trying to push our ideas or our viewpoints into anyone. We're making sure that they're coming from that pure place of love. And then we're simply sharing them for anyone who is meant to find them and resonate with them to do so. And really welcoming in. And as we are receiving these ascension codes, right, we're also using this violet flame to transmute any lower vibrational energies, so huge transmutation energies, and really being guided whenever we feel something coming up that's wanting to be transmuted, work with that violet flame. Yes, work with that violet flame. Work with it, send it wherever it needs to go. Archangel Zadkiel, in combination with Saint Germain and Archangel Gabriel, work as the keepers of this violet flame, and their energy combined as stewards of this flame creates what's called in this book the cosmic diamond violet flame. All right, this is really powerful energy. So invoke the cosmic diamond violet flame. Invoke it for yourself, invoke it for your friends, invoke it for your neighbors, invoke it for anywhere, the earth itself, anywhere where you feel this energy is needed. Call upon that and its power. This helps us to clear the past. It helps to accelerate our ascension into the fifth dimension. And yes, this is working with Archangel Zadkiel, the lower chambers of our soul star chakras, which is where unresolved karma, ancestral and genetic karma is found. So really working and calling on this violet flame, this cosmic diamond violet flame, to transmute those ancestral energies and that patterning, those belief systems. And this is all stuff that we absolutely work with in theta healing as well, for those who are interested. But utilize the tools at our disposal here. There's a lot of karma that we are clearing. A lot, just, oh my God, so much. It's so exciting. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have Archangel Sandalphon. Tune into your divine potential and bring the world into harmony. So we're really tuning into and tapping into and being opened up to more and more of our divine potential during this retrograde. And as I was saying that, it was 33 minutes, 55 seconds on the clock. So just allow that process, open up to that process, embrace it, Embrace yourself, embrace this journey, embrace the transformation that is upon you. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. It definitely helps to get these videos out to more people. Comments help as well. I just love reading your comments and interacting with you guys on the comments. It is the relationship that I have with you guys on here is so special and so sacred to me. And so it's just for that reason alone, leave me a comment because I love reading them and responding to them. I absolutely adore you guys so very, very much. There are links down below to donate if you feel so moved to do so. If you are viewing this before Wednesday night, the 26th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you want to join that full moon releasing ceremony, the links for that are below. If you're joining after, the link will be up for the new moon manifesting ceremony. So hop on board for that if you guys want. That's all in the description box below. My email is in the description box below with my different services that I offer. If you don't know what you need, simply shoot me an email. Let me know what's going on, what you want to work on, and we can figure out the best service or combination of services to help move you in that direction that you're wanting to go. There's so much that we can do. That is a deep passion of mine, is my ability and the blessing of being able to work with you guys one-on-one in order to enhance your empowerment, in order to give you that clarity, that confidence, to connect you with more of your truth and more of your light. That's what we're all doing right now. That is our really one and only mission right now, but it encompasses so many others. All right, I appreciate you. Have a beautiful day, whatever day you are viewing this. Have a beautiful Mercury retrograde. There's no reason. Do not fear the retrograde. It is bringing in so many blessings. Remember, with that void of course energy and the increase, you may not be able to see it, but it is there. And this is that energy, right? If you can't see, you may not be able to see, but you can feel. So feel it, connect to that feeling. Let that feeling be your guide. Let that feeling restore your faith. Let that feeling be what you follow. Let it be your compass. Bye.